So I'll be addressing more concerns, more like the FAQ section lecture, because I get this a lot, especially before and during the military, even after. I still get people, they get very concerned for the scams, having cam, pincer impingement, labral tears, cysts, thing called a chondral damage in the hip joint, arthritis, and they've been told surgery is the only option to correct any hip issues. And does your method really help them? So the way I respond to this is by just because you have a scary, intimidating sounding diagnosis does not mean you cannot improve things drastically. I come across many people with cam and pincer impingements, as well labral tears, and very, very awful sounding issues. And using my method with a lot of success, especially people in the military, especially them too. But for someone like me, the instructor of this course, is a very good example of my hip being in really bad shape according to a conventional medical standpoint. So in their eyes, I was pretty much screwed up in their eyes. They said I had bone spurs sticking out everywhere. I was pretty, that sounded pretty bad, I know. And now I'm totally fine. No surgery whatsoever, and they were shocked at how the hell did you do this? You got no medical background. When it comes to this stuff, it all comes down to due diligence, So I bought a lot of programs out there, and it's just pretty much snippets. Some are just dressed certain parts of the body. They weren't really specialized in the hips, and it took me a long time. There are programs quite similar, but they were just very expensive. I don't want people spending too much money on physios and other programs. I want to give you like a really good budget, a low, taking a very good, don't take medical advice from me, but take from my experience, just the average Joe. I don't call myself some hero just because I help a lot of people in the military. I'm a triathlete. I'm just an average Joe. I like helping people. I do a lot of research because when I was a kid, I used to read a lot of biology, a lot of human anatomy. I didn't really get into it until I got myself injured and I started reading a lot of books. That's what it comes down to, just reading books and researching articles and researchers. And then the physios were astounded. How do you know so much, I only came to see advice they can change something about it, and that's when I started reading books through the failure of medical professionals. That's when I came down to researching all this stuff. So the articles will mention this, like researchers shows like there's people, so-called bone spurs, cam impingement without having any symptoms, and they reckon that's like the majority of the population also. So yeah, figured that out. But so you could have all the stuff I mentioned and not develop symptoms. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So there's plenty, like I said, plenty of research that these diagnoses have no relationship with pain and whatnot. For that reason, we always encourage people just to get into, stretching, just to, it's all cliche stuff you heard from me the entire time. Stretching, massaging, activating, find ways to reduce that pain and comfort. So for example, there's a squat movement. There's people can't even get to some people just can't squat. For example, just very briefly, squat until you feel just before you feel pinching, that band, just before you feel that sensation. Put like a resistance band, for example, like this one, around your leg. Pretend I got a band, and just before you get into that position, just open your legs out, destroy them. There's a bit of practice, just like a bit of self-testing involved. So I want to address, when you do your self-test, get into a position where just before you feel a sensation, like the squatting, for example, like if you want to do this, because a lot of people like squatting so much, just hold that position for a good 30 seconds before you get into that pinching mode, that sharp sensation. Don't go down, oh I hurt. Do it before the pain starts. So that's something just to keep in mind, and I'll be addressing more concerns in the next video.